Well, I don't know what the hell that music was, but aside from that, I think the intro is pretty cool. We just rocked an episode of the Blood Doctor Show, and now we're here to do Sunday Night Suns. I'm with my man Keith Strader. What's up?
Hey man, ready to talk about the Suns?
Now a much more focused discussion.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing one thing is a very unfocused, free-form discussion. This is a hard-hitting, newsworthy discussion about what is going on with the Phoenix Suns, and the answer is not a goddamn thing that's good.
Yeah. Is that right?
Well, I mean, what do you have? Like, where is your? We're on the All-Star break.
Yeah.
And obviously that's good for us in terms of let's get some rest, let's get some guys healthy. But given how we sort of careened into All-Star break, like, where are you feeling? Like, I mean, again, Mavs game good, Thunder game very bad,
Yeah, and I wouldn't even characterize the Mavericks game as good. I guess like we won, which is nice, but just the way it ended, like we should have, commanded that game from start to finish.
We should have crushed that team.
Yeah.
We should have beaten them by 50.
Yeah.
And instead we let them damn near win the game after they were behind by like fucking 30.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm talking about. Like, what frustrates me is, again, and I have to say it, if we're going to sit here and talk about how great they are, we have to sit here and talk about how shitty they are when they're shitty. The level of commitment and focus and everything that we've seen in the last 2 weeks has been garbage. And it's not what we've seen from this team this whole season. And I want to believe we're hurt, we're injured, we're trying to get to the All-Star break. I want to believe all that stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, given the last few years, it's hard to sit here and be like, no, everything's going to be fine. The performance against the Mavericks was shitty. Like, again, we came out on fire. Everything is working. And then you just let them back in the game. And there's so much letting them get to the fucking rim.
Mm-hmm. Yep. People can just get to the rim so easy on us. And, had we stayed ahead, we would have been able to maybe play Jalen and Devin in the next game. But, they played basically all of the fourth quarter, so they were not available back to back.
In a game like this, you should be able to rest them. The Thunder get to rest Shea all the time because they fucking blow teams out in 3 quarters. We should be able to do that against the Mavericks occasionally.
Yeah.
And we can't even do that shit. Like, this game, it opened up. Everything was going perfectly. We were literally blowing them off the court. It was up to like 27, 28 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
And it's like the back half of the second quarter, it just starts going bad.
Yeah. We get in a problem where we hit too many threes, and then when those stop falling, like we cannot figure out how to penetrate and get inside and score inside. Like every once in a while we can do it, but I don't know. I've seen like a lot more just like ISO just jacking up a bad shot at the end. Like we weren't seeing a lot of that in the last few months, and now we're starting to see that pretty regularly. Well, Bouye is kind of guilty of it. Dillon Brooks does it. Even Gillespie has done it a couple times, but I think I'm still chalking it up to injuries. I think after the All-Star break, we will kind of recalibrate and get back to where we were. So I'm still feeling optimistic.
What bothers me is that we added Jalen Green.
Yeah.
And that should have been a boost to some of these games. And while he looks good, it's still not necessarily showing up in the box score. And that's what worries me a little bit, is that this is the thing with the Rockets, is that the dude passes the eye test, but the stats don't match it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping that, again, we're working him in. He's coming back from injury. But it's like we're starting to get to a lot of like ifs.
He was part of that big run in the Mavericks game that put us up 30. So he was pretty good in the start of that game.
Right.
Yeah.
He's had his moments, but then it like he will go cold. And he will, the defense can wane. And I mean, I just worry that it's going to be hard to get your sea legs this late in the season.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is a certain level of, and I want to believe because he's been around the whole season, he was around for training camp, all these things. I want to believe that he understands what we're trying to do, and that's going to make it easier to fit in. But he's not necessarily a person that fits in easily because he needs the ball, right? He's not like a play off the ball dude. He needs to get better at that. And again, I feel like he's been doing what I want. I feel like he's been running hard, cutting. He's made a couple of nice passes. It's going to take, we need to see him play 25 to 30 minutes in 10 straight games.
Yeah.
Before we can really even say this is good or this is bad.
Yeah. Like we need to see him be healthy first. You know, so far has he played 2 games consistently, like, or played 3 games in a row? Like, I don't think he's done that for us yet.
Right.
So if we get to, like you said, if he could play 10 games in a row, that'd be awesome for us. And I think we would start to get in the groove. I think we have enough time to kind of make a run at the end of the season to get a nice playoff spot.
Yeah. I mean, and the other thing is, if it's not going to work, it would be nice to see that. Like,
sure.
I'm not trying to hate. I'm not trying to hate on him at all because I generally have liked what I have seen from Jalen Green. It's more just we want to know. I want to know, does Jalen Green have a future here, or do we need to look at trading him in the offseason? I want to know the answer to that question.
Yeah.
And it's not that, again, it's not that I want to do that. It's just that you want to know what you're looking for coming out of this season is knowing whether Jalen Green is a piece of the Phoenix Suns' future or not.
Yeah.
Because I think
Dillon is.
Right. You know that Dillon Brooks is. You know that Devin Booker is. I think at this point you know that Mark Williams is. I think you know that Oso Ighodaro is. So who are the guys that fit around those dudes? And that's where it's like, I want to bring back Grayson Allen. I want to bring back Royce O'Neal. I want to bring back Colin Gillespie. I think I want to bring back Jalen Green, but I don't know. I can't bring back everyone. You're not going to be able to pay everyone. So the question becomes, who is a core player? Like for me right now, the core players are Devin Booker, Dillon Brooks, Mark Williams, and Oso Ighodaro. Those 4 players are untouchable to me. I don't want any of them going anywhere. Mm-hmm. So
I'm leaning towards that with Grayson Allen too, personally, but he's expensive, but he gives us some really great minutes when he's healthy.
Grayson is awesome. Yeah. He's incredible. But the reason that I say that Grayson Allen is not untouchable is that because he's an incredibly good player on a really nice contract for a couple more years, someone might give us really good value there. Like you might be able to package something that really brings the Suns back incredible value. And I'm not saying I want to do that. I'm just saying that I will listen if someone asks me about Grayson Allen. Like if someone called and said, I'd like to talk about Devin Booker, I'm hanging up the phone.
Right.
If someone called and said, I'd like to talk about Mark Williams, I said, well, we paid 2 first-round picks for him, so you better be calling with 3 first-round picks. And then, that's done. If someone calls about Oso Ighodaro, I'm like, again, I'm hanging up the phone.
Yeah.
If someone calls about Grayson Allen, I'm listening. I'm at least entertaining it. I'm not saying, because here again, the answer to that question might be, do you want to keep Grayson Allen or Jalen Green?
Right.
And the answer might be Grayson Allen. Mm-hmm. But the answer may also be, I can't keep them both.
Right.
So that's where it comes in is, I can only keep one of them. I'm willing to listen on Grayson Allen, especially if Jalen Green really fits in here. So it's just one of those things. It's a roster building decision. Because again, we have $18 million in dead money, right? That's just from Bradley Beal. With Beal and all the cuts we have something like $23 million in dead money. So, and it goes down every year in terms of what the percentage of the cap it is, but that's a player. A full player salary, the $20 million that we would be able to give to Gillespie, for example, is just gone. Just dead money, nothing we can do about it. So, again, I don't know that was the right choice, but the moves it allowed us to make have put us in this position. So, we are where we are. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. There's nothing that you can do about it. So, you've lost one player. So, you've got to find ways to bring in talent. And if someone is willing to give us 2 players for Grayson Allen, you may have to look at that, especially if, those players have value.
Right.
Because someone may have two guys on rookie contracts that need development. Grayson Allen fits in on their team, whereas we may have more room for the development. Again, I'm talking about theoretical scenarios, but it's just I'm listening because you're not going to be able to keep all of Gillespie, Royce O'Neal, Jalen Green, and Grayson Allen. You're going to have to make a move somewhere there. And I just don't know what they're going to do. And I don't think they know what they're going to do either. Because the real thing is Gillespie's not going to come back on a minimum.
Right.
So that's ultimately really it is, you know, and this was another thing I wanted to talk about is because we talked about the Cole Anthony thing before. And I was like, I thought that was going to be good for us. I was like, you know, Cole Anthony will be a dude who will get a bucket and all these things. Nope. He's not even reporting to the team. And it just turns out we did that deal to duck the tax. And everyone's like, oh, Suns ducking the tax. But here's the thing. Number one, the repeater tax is punitive as fuck.
Yeah, it is.
We've been in that tax for years. We must get out of it. We had to get out of it this season to prevent our future bills from getting so horrible and to allow us to open certain avenues to adding players to this team. We need to get those exceptions and the, you know, mid-level exception and the biannual exception. We need to get access to all those things by getting out of the tax because we have this big chunk of dead money. So like the whole, the Suns, they moved to get out of the tax. Yes, but we needed to do that. Like, I understand this whole who gives a shit, fuck the owners, let them pay the money. Dude, nobody's paying a $200 million tax bill for a team that's like not, you know, you have to be realistic. And you want the team to be able to go into the tax when they're good again. Mm-hmm. And so I'm not mad at that move at all. I'm surprised that Cole Anthony isn't someone we're interested in. But then you go see, it looks like we're going to give that roster spot to Haywood Highsmith, or one way or another, we're, you know, making that transaction where I think Haywood Highsmith signed a multi-year deal.
Yeah.
And I guess his knee's not 100% right now.
Yeah, that's what I was reading.
And this is a smart move. Sure. This is what we're talking about. It's the whole, what they talk about on the Hoop Collective podcast as pre-agency. Mm-hmm. It's like, make your moves before free agency starts, before you actually get into a bidding war. For Haywood Highsmith, he locks in some money over a couple of years, even if it's only a vet minimum. Like, the upside for him is he might get like 3 vet minimums where he's not sure about his knee. And for us, if it works out and we can fix his knee, we get a dude on a really cheap contract, which again, we really need. So I understand like that concept. I'm with that kind of thing. Ducking the tax, I'm okay with. I'm okay with all that stuff. But I just, looking forward, we know that we're going to have to make some sort of cut. And I want to just find a way to win the championship and say, fuck all of this. But
right.
But interestingly enough, you have to consider what the future entails. And I think that one thing that we can definitely say is that we need to know, what do we have in Jalen Green? And you make a good point. Like, Grayson Allen has become so good and is such a good fit. Is Grayson Allen just, that's what we need? And then Jalen Green becomes the, you know, and the thing about Jalen is his contract's going to expire.
Yeah.
So I think it's after next season. So you maybe don't even necessarily have to trade him. You can just let it run out. Or you can use him as an expiring contract if things don't work out. Like, there's a lot of different ways. My hope is just that he's so good in the playoffs and down the stretch that, you know, I'd love to have too many good players.
Yes. We're pretty deep for like the Beal situation. Like, we have a pretty deep team, it seems like.
Yeah. It's just that we just need more creation. That's why I really thought the Cole Anthony thing, I was like, yeah, nice. But no, I mean, they don't view it that way, which, hey.
Yeah, you know, we got to just work on our plays, I think. Drop some better plays. Like, we need to get back to that. We're focusing a little bit too much on ISO, and we're not doing double picks, you know, like we were doing just like single picks again.
Our offense has gotten very basic in the last few weeks. Yeah. There's been so much less, you know, finesse. And it's just everything has gotten, it's a lot more ISO heavy.
You know, that's what happens when Book's out for a couple of weeks.
It's
like
true.
he's not pulling defenders away.
I mean, speaking of Book being out, like the Thunder game, we got completely destroyed.
Right.
And that was what happened the last time we played the Thunder without Booker.
Yeah.
We got completely destroyed. And so, you know, I mean, I do, you know, Booker's in, we can play the Thunder. Booker's not in, we lose by 50. Like for whatever reason, Booker is what makes us able to compete with the Thunder. And when we don't have him, we literally can't even we don't even belong in the gym with them.
Their defense is too good.
Dude,
we need Booker to pull that.
Yeah, his gravity changes their defense. I mean, that alone should give people like we have 2 50-point losses to the Thunder. And then like when Booker's in, like it's like a whole
we're 1-1 with Booker, right?
Yeah. We lost by 3 and then we won. Like it's, you know, it's crazy. And then we lose by 800 points. Like it's just one of those things. Like he's gonna put in 25 and he's gonna dish 8 assists. And there's gonna be 4 lazy passes that he doesn't throw that are 8 points the other way for the Thunder. And so right there, you're like, that's like 40 points in difference that just you're not getting because you just do not have him.
Right.
And you have nothing that compares to him when he's out. So, I mean, the biggest thing to me going forward is, health. Like as simple as it seems, as basic as that seems, as obvious that seems, and I mean it is, but it's also the truth. Like if we're not going to get better from a health perspective, if we're not going to be able to, I mean, if we can't get healthy on the whole, like it's not just Booker. We need Jalen Green. We need Mark Williams. We need everyone. We need Grayson.
Exactly. And it hurts our chemistry, obviously. You know, like when people take these weeks off at a time, it takes a few games to get back in groove, you know, in sync. We're not playing on a string, like, you know, as they say.
Yeah. No, and that's true. And the other thing is, like, it really, like you say, playing on the string, it really is our defense suffers. I know that our offense has been bad, but like our offense being bad, I do think has a lot more to do with Booker being out. But when everyone's out, then I think your defense really suffers. Like your star point guard being out crushes your offensive flow, but like you still know how to play when Booker comes back. I really feel like having multiple guys injured is like it causes more problems to the defense than it does to the offense, because if you start having to rotate and cover for guys, and I think it creates worse habits. Like getting to ISO ball is annoying, but I don't know. To me, that just is easier to snap out of than bad defensive habits.
Sure.
I just think from a basketball perspective, it's a lot easier to snap back into good offense than good defense, because defense is something that you have to want to all the fucking time. And I think that when you start to have bad habits on defense, those things just creep all throughout everything that you do. It's just, it's a poison. And so having that level of energy on the defensive end is something that needs to just, you know, stay up.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. And Levers being out, that hurts because he was starting to be a decent defender. You know, at least he was giving effort. I think he got hurt on the defensive play. So that kind of speaks to what you're saying about getting out of rotation and maybe you get hurt or something. You know?
Yeah, I like Livers because he brings energy, you know?
Exactly.
Livers is one of those dudes who, like, you feel him when he's on the court because he's gonna grab a rebound. He's going to set a hard pick, you know, and it's like, oh shit, that's a guard who just did that. You know what I'm saying? Like you feel Livers when he's out there. And I agree with you that his defense was getting better. He made a couple of plays. One of the recent games, I can't remember off the top of my head. It may have been against the Mavericks. Or no, he was out. He was injured. Yeah, he was out of that game. It may have been the previous Mavericks game actually that I'm thinking of. Regardless, the point is he closed out a few times where the range of closeout, I was like, damn, dude, like he showed some speed. And so I really like this dude. And again, it's like when even your role players are hurt, when you're reaching, we're just it's piling up too much.
Yes.
And we're gonna reach a point where there's no coming back. And we gotta avoid that.
Healthy, don't overexert yourself. It's the home stretch, so just play smart.
I just wish we had our old training staff from back in the day.
Yeah.
First back with Choprosky and then Aaron Nelson, and they all got hired away by the Pelicans, and I don't know what the hell happened there. I mean, I know why they were hired, because they were hired by David Griffin, who was the former Suns GM. But I mean, I don't know. It didn't work out very well, and Aaron Nelson eventually got fired. I don't know if he came back to the Suns, or I don't know that we had the training staff that we once had, because I feel like we always had our fair share of injuries, but our thing was that we could always like rehab older players. Like,
yeah,
Grant Hill came here. Everyone forgets that he spent like 6 years here as like one of the better defenders in the league and a really good role player. Like, Grant Hill was awesome in his time as Phoenix. He was a role player. He wasn't Detroit Grant Hill, when he was like being compared to Kobe and shit. But, that was all the Phoenix Suns trainers, helped him really rehab.
He didn't think he was going to be able to play, right? Like,
he had 6 great seasons in Detroit. He goes to Orlando, just tears up his legs. Orlando let him go because, they were essentially just like, hey, man, it's not happening. And he came to Phoenix and it worked out. Like, they were able to rehab him. And, it's one of those things, again, the dry air, all these things are good for, your joints and all these things. And Grant Hill is one of the great, but also like Nasty was never 100%. He had all these back problems. And, once he went to the Lakers again, that should flared up and he barely could play again.
Yeah.
But all the years you see Nash laying on the floor in Suns games is because he had all these back problems.
Okay.
And so, the Suns training staff has always been, or at least was, the gold standard. Where they are now, I don't know.
Hard to say, especially with like the length of Green's injury and has not been able to been rehabbed.
I mean, a hamstring is one of those things though that like there's nothing you can fucking do. Like you just have to wait and they just happen again. Like the hamstring injuries just continue. Booker's had it. Mm-hmm. They really are one of those things that are very difficult to, prevent recurrences. You just sort of have to hope. Even Chris Paul had the one, in game 6 against the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals when he played for the Rockets. Like, that shit just happens. Mm-hmm. I do think that we were probably more adept at dealing with it and knowing when to return in the old days than we are now. We don't seem to. I do feel like we rush guys back now. Like, I don't know. Like, I just don't. I don't know what anyone thinks about our training staff now. You never hear about, the Suns' amazing training. You used to hear people talk about that, and not anymore. So now they talk about Ishbia playing in the celebrity game.
Shooting rainbows over Taco Fall.
Dude, he was like throwing backwards passes. Like, I mean, he was a college basketball player.
Yeah.
So he can play. And he's out there in like the book shoes. Like he was like, he's like, listen.
I missed that.
He's like, I'm going to remind these motherfuckers. Like he was like, it was pretty entertaining watching some of the shit that he did. It was like, all right, this guy can play. Like, I was honestly impressed. Like, I kind of thought that he might go out there and like really embarrass himself,
Yeah.
And he really did not.
He could show his face in the locker room.
Yeah. Like
they'll be like, all right,
he can play. Like, so a couple of those passes he threw, I was like, the one behind the back one that he threw, or the dude blew away up. I was like, oh, of course. But the pass itself, I was like, all right, Matt. All right. I was like, that's that $2 taco pass right there, baby.
Hell yeah.
Like,
it's a $2 juice.
Yeah.
He had that one stretch where he shot over Taco and then he ran down and got a steal on that, like on the next play. That was pretty
yeah. Like, I mean, he because the thing is, he's so vocal. Mm-hmm. And whenever a new owner is vocal, people are like, oh, I don't want to hear this guy talk. Yeah. And, with all of our, our previous windbag owner, who was also a racist, homophobic, sexual offender, and all these things, nobody has ever wanted to really listen to the Suns owner. And then Ishbia he didn't do himself any favors when he did he said like 26 teams would trade places with us about the Durant, Booker, and Beal thing. And, I don't think that most of that is true. So ultimately, hey, to go out there and, ball out a little bit, it's good. I enjoyed it.
He represented us well.
Yeah. And it's like, I didn't see any other fucking owners. I didn't see Steve Ballmer out there playing. So
exactly.
Dude, oh my God, can you imagine Ballmer on the court? He'd like turn the ball over and then he would like just turn bright red.
Just snort a line off.
Have you seen the video of when they introduced Windows 95 and they're all on stage? just like, oh my God.
Guys just like jumping.
Yeah. And it's just like pinnacle white man culture. Like just not like cool white guys, but just when people think of white people, it's like that is white people. like that's like pure whiteness, you know what I'm saying? Like unfiltered whiteness, like right from the tap.
Yeah.
Like there's like, oh my God, is that a tap of white people? Like that's what that is. Like there's not even any carbonation in that. No, sir. That's pure white people right there.
Pure white. And it's always like no matter how much money you have, you can never buy like not being awkward. Like
yes. Like
whatever that factor is.
Well, and this is the thing that I've told you this before, and this is completely off topic, but I remember when I first heard about Elon Musk, and I'm talking about like 2010, 2011, I was like, this guy is interesting. I was like, this is crazy. Like he's doing all this stuff. And I remember thinking like, this guy could be really interesting. And then when they did the Tesla Powerwall, he did a speech on YouTube. And we watched it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, this guy's a fucking loser. And I remember saying to you, I was like, I thought this guy was going to be like a good speaker who would like be like a visionary. I was like, this guy's a fucking loser. I remember saying this to you.
You were expecting Tony Stark.
Right. I really was. Yeah. And so, because people said that about him, like that was, he's the real Iron Man. People would like make those claims. And so I never heard him speak before. And when I heard him speak and he talks, he goes, ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm like, oh my God, he's a fucking dork.
I remember saying that.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh no. I was like, no. Because listen, I can trust the future of the world to a nerd. I can trust the future of the world to a geek, but I can't trust it to a dork. That's like, there are certain groups of people who I'm simply not going to listen to. And anyone who qualifies as a dork ass loser for any reason is just at the top of that list. And it doesn't, there's no amount of money in the world that changes that, as we've learned. And I ended up being dead on correct. Like I was 100% right. But it was very funny because in the beginning, my opinion of this dude was very positive. And then I heard him speak one time. And I was like, oh no, that guy is bad news. Mm-hmm. I thought he was bad news in terms of like, I don't know what I thought, but I certainly didn't think this. I didn't think he was going to become like, a demigod, apartheid trillionaire, who just does anything that he wants to. But
it's so sad, his trajectory.
Yeah,
because like like you said, like in 2011, whatever the Powerball, so many of the stuff was like green initiative, which,
right?
Like I identify with like being liberal, and it's just
it's the whole absolute power corrupts absolutely thing. Like money turns everyone into a fucking asshole, and that's why I've never monetized any of my podcast. I'm just kidding. I mean, but for real, there's a certain point where money literally warps your brain, and you're no longer a sane human because no one will ever tell you the truth about anything because everyone just wants you to buy them things. And you become, this sort of ridiculous psychopath who builds robots that make nudes of celebrity women. Like that's what Grok does, and I don't, it's the whole, like, could you solve world hunger? Well, no, but could you try my racism robot? Like, it just doesn't. That's where we are. So
do you think he'll ever buy a basketball team? Let's not even talk about him anymore.
Oh my God. if they let him in the NBA, I might honestly legitimately have to stop. Like that would probably be that might be the only thing that could actually get me to like stop watching basketball or football or anything is him getting involved. And I feel like the league, well, he's going to be a trillionaire. It's hard to say they wouldn't want his money. Because, like, I would say that they wouldn't want what's associated with that. But, like, if he's literally going to be a trillionaire, which, again, based on legitimately nothing. Oh, my God. It's not for this podcast. Yeah. Anyway. So here's something that pissed me off that has to do with this podcast. Why the hell is Dillon Brooks not an all-star?
It's a shame.
I know that his numbers in assists and rebounds don't compare to Brandon Ingram and De'Aaron Fox, who are the most recent, replacements. 19-6 for Fox, 21-5. I understand that. But I think that there's this other thing that we're forgetting. Basketball includes defense. Dillon Brooks is putting up these numbers while also taking the most difficult defensive assignment every single night while captaining the defense for the Suns. Half of the fucking game is defense. So he's scoring the same points as these two dudes while also leading what is a top 5 defense in the league. Ingram can't defend me. I could score points on Brandon. I could score points on the entire Toronto Raptors roster. I don't think any of them know what defense is. I'm not sure that they're aware that they're allowed to play defense, aside from like Scotty Barnes. But nonetheless, like Ingram is, we watched this dude do this in the playoff. He literally fucking stands there. And he's like, wow, good shot, buddy. I'm going to go take a shot on the other end. That's Brandon Ingram. De'Aaron Fox, what defense is he playing? He's just letting Victor Wembanyama do everything. Like, he's not playing fucking defense. Dillon Brooks is doing everything. And he's not even like considered. And this whole like Reggie Miller's like, he's not going to make it because blah, blah. Who the fuck is Reggie Miller? Reggie Miller was an overrated 2 guard who shot like 39% for his career. Like, fuck Reggie Miller. He made a bunch of threes a couple of times. They like put him in his name with in the name of Jordan because he hit a couple of playoff shots. Like, man, Reggie Miller is overrated as fuck. Fuck that guy. Dillon Brooks is a better player than Reggie Miller ever was. Yeah, I fucking said it. I said that shit. You can fucking take that shit to the goddamn bank. This season of Dillon Brooks is better than any Reggie Miller season that motherfucker ever had. And so you're going to sit here and tell me that like defense isn't even part of the game? Like,
it is. It's such a spit in the face to defense. Like you said, it's half the game. Charles Barkley agrees with you. Says Dillon Brooks should be there.
Well, and it's the whole turnaround of this whole season for us. Everyone fucking agrees that we have the most ferocious defense in the league that no one wants to play. And that's all about Dillon Brooks. So why is LeBron James in the All-Star game?
Yeah. And like you said, like they don't play defense in the All-Star games. You know who would? You know who would be like making that game exciting would be Dillon Brooks.
Dillon Brooks.
He'd be talking shit. He'd be pushing people.
Put Dillon Brooks in the All-Star game. And we should put Dillon Brooks on one side and Draymond Green on the other side and be like, no one's calling fouls. Yeah. That would be an all-star game I want to see. Yeah, I want to see Dillon Brooks and Draymond Green go full unhinged, screaming at referees in an all-star game. Yeah. That's what we need. We've done it. Yeah, we have figured out what will make the all-star game great again is for Dillon Brooks and Draymond Green don't come off the court. 48 minutes. It's like the Jameis Winston thing. Mm-hmm. The thing about where Jameis Winston plays for one team every week of the season, and it's like he just basically alternates between whoever needs a quarterback that week. Yes. It's the same sort of thing. It's like Dillon Brooks does not come off the court. Draymond Green does not come off the court. They are there. It is them.
No fouls.
No fouls. And we just let them be insane and just get it all out for 48 minutes. Maybe we do it on a slam ball court and we just really take this thing to like Matt Barnes Temecula levels, like this is the greatest idea because we all agree that no one gives a shit about the All-Star game. Clip that, clip this, clip all of this AI clip thing. Dillon Brooks and Draymond Green, 48 minutes apiece. They never come off the court. No technical fouls, no flagrant fouls, no fouls, just war. When I was a kid, we called that jungle ball. And now that I hear myself say it out loud, it sounds like it was probably racist. So my bad. Don't clip that. Oh, that's not well seen. What can do?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what you would call that today. You know, I have no. I had like MAGA ball because they all just go to war with each other all the time. Like, you know, I don't know, but I am legitimately. It's just I want to see basketball with hockey rules.
Yeah.
That's what I. You know what I'm saying? Like, no high sticking. You know, but let's have some fist fights.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why not? Like, the NBA is such a fake tough guy league. And, you know, Dillon Brooks is Canadian. So he can bring that sort of, you know, toothless Canadian attitude that we're so used to the basketball court. And he can just throw punches and, like,
it might stop a lot of, like, you know, shit talking. Like, if people have to have to actually put up or shut up and start fighting.
What if we allowed hockey sticks just for Draymond and Dillon? Like, they get to,
the
like,
All-Star game.
Yeah, like, they're just out there, like, tripping dudes. Maybe they can't go up and down the court, but they have, like, a 6 foot, like, you know, they just have to stay in this range, and they're just, like, absolutely wreaking havoc. Like, I just, like, I want to see, because that's another thing is that we're not considering that, you know, the All-Star game sucks because it's all-star players. None of the stars are really like guys who cause problems.
Yeah.
Toothless Canadian attitude. That's right. None of the stars are like, you know, guys who like shake it up, like in the way that Dennis Rodman, you know, like I want a Dennis Rodman All-Star game, you know, where it's just like people who might legitimately beat the shit out of each other. That's what we need in basketball right now. Like, I really think this is the answer. I'm gonna DM this to Zach Lowe and be like, I figured it out.
Yeah.
Here's what solves the All-Star game.
I think I'm not like I'm like unironically agreeing with you.
I actually really honestly believe that just letting the two most unhinged dudes in the NBA go at it might be like, it honestly might be more entertaining to just watch those two play one-on-one for like 20 minutes. Like, first off, nobody's scoring in that game. Like, nobody's making a single shot. They're both bricking every single thing. And okay. I don't know if there's not enough fear in the NBA, but the NBA is a fake tough guy league. Okay. The NBA is a league where a bunch of dudes get in each other's face and they stand there and they stare each other down. What? And nobody does anything. And then you have like that. You saw the brawl the other day, where then you have Isaiah Stewart who comes to, he'll throw punches in. That's another dude who needs to be in that All-Star game is Isaiah Stewart. Like, just like, let's do this thing. Like, because I mean, dude, he was the one who like went at LeBron.
Yeah, I remember that shit. Yeah,
like he's
that
like
was crazy.
Like, dude, Beef Stew does not give a fuck. He gives two. Yeah, standing there menacingly his life, but that is not Isaiah Stewart. Isaiah Stewart will come find you in the hallway after the game. Like, that dude is not mentally right, and that's what we need in the All-Star game. We need mental illness. Like, honestly, like, we need people who are genuinely not well. Those are the guys who are going to make the All-Star game, like, just so incredibly good. Like, I read this story. Brock Holt said that in 2018, some baseball player said to him, like, we should just bring a gun on the field because we'd be the first one. And everyone was like, I don't know who said it. But Hanley Ramirez was, like, released that day of the story. And it was like, oh, yeah, it was probably Hanley. Was that it? It's like, you know, it's just, there's fucking crazy people. Like, we don't need any last Boy Scouting. You know, no thank you.
No Bruce Willis.
I will say that The one home run I saw Hanley Ramirez hit is the loudest home run I've ever seen in my life. We walked into the A's stadium, and that motherfucker cracked a home run that it sounded like a cannon went off. And maybe it was just the way the A's stadium echoed. I don't know. Still, nothing in baseball was like watching Barry Bonds hit. That was, man, being a kid in San Francisco and watching that dude hit baseballs into the fucking ocean, like 450 feet away, into the wind, in a cove where no one else could even get the ball even close. And he's doing it every... You want to go, you want to just see something. Like, just, you go watch Barry Bonds from like 2001. He hit like 430. His slugging percentage is like 1,200. He like walked 9,000 times. Like, it's legitimately, he's the most dominant seasons of sports. Any player, he's unstoppable, absolutely unstoppable. And he's not in the Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame, stupid as crime. Well, if nothing else, we've learned that the Hall of Fame doesn't give a fuck about the fans, no matter what sport it is. It's sports writers trying to prove a point. Bill Belichick isn't in the Hall of Fame. Barry Bonds isn't in the Hall of Fame. Pete Rose is in the Hall of Fame, but you know, Jim Updike, who played second base and hit 12 home runs and was a white guy lunch pail player, those kinds of dudes are in the fucking Hall of Fame. Fuck these people. Anyway, highlights.
Yeah.
Only a couple games to do highlights from because of the fact that it was only a short week heading into the All-Star break. And of course, now coming out of the All-Star break, what do we got? You see, we got the Spurs, we got the Magic, and we got the Blazers on back-to-back.
Yep.
I mean, right there.
And Dillon is suspended.
Dillon is suspended for the Spurs game, right? Yeah. So right there, if Booker is out, like, that's a loss at the Spurs. Like, if you don't have Booker or, Green or Brooks, like, we're just going to lose that game. So we really got to hope that Devin is 100%. I mean, I'd like to think he's going to be there.
Me too.
Damn near won the 3-point contest. That was another thing we could talk about. His Book literally missed a shot to win the 3-point contest. He would have won.
Yeah. That
would have been it. He's come second twice. He's won it and come second twice. Like, Book is like, it's like right there. Fucking Dame literally won. But, we got to hope that we can get, again, I think the West is pretty set. Like, we're not falling out of the play-in or anything.
Right.
We're definitely going to be in the play-in, but like, we could fall out of the top 7.
Yeah.
And we don't want that because we're like a game and a half out of the top 5.
Right.
So we just got to keep going. You got to look at what happened heading into the break as a skid. Mm-hmm. Just keep pushing.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's look at this Mavs game first. Highlights up. All right. Boom. Oh, it doesn't want to let us do that, does it? When I drop. That's fine. Let's get a look here. So, who we got going? We got Gillespie on the court. We got Dunn on the court. And we got our favorite player in the world in the dunker spot. So, and this is the thing that you love about what Jalen Green can do, going right to the favorite player in the world, the dunker spot. But the thing that you love about Jalen Green is just the speed is pretty unparalleled by most guys in the league. Because, I mean, if you look at where he's at right here, I mean, he's up by the logo. And he's going to get all the way down here. And yes, the defense rotates. But a lot of guys are going to get cut off and walled off around here, right? Because we'll cut in, we'll come here, we'll come here. And he's not even going to be able to get to the rim. And that's one thing that we suck at, right? We talk about this all the time, that we're not good at getting to the rim. It's not a thing that we do very often. We don't drive enough. We talk about that a lot. And one thing that Jalen Green is going to be able to do better than so many other guys is get to the rim because he's so fucking fast. So even in this scenario, when you see there's a lot of opportunity for the Mavs to close this off, his speed is one of those things that's just going to allow him to just, completely fucking blow right by that. And, they know what's coming. They're all ready for it. He goes right there. And here's the thing. This is, again, what we talked about. I want him to make a couple more passes a game. And instead of taking the tough layup, who do we go to? Who's our favorite guy sitting right there in the dunker spot the whole time? I mean, Oso is like, it's starting to, he's like dunking like twice a game at this point. Like, he is throwing him down all the time. And this is just a beautiful play because this is all Jalen Green creating his own shot, essentially, and then passing out of that shot for the easier dunk. And this is the thing that Jalen Green has not necessarily done, is when there's an easier opportunity, giving that ball up. And this is what I said again. I'll say it again. It's 4 times a game. Take 4 of his errant shots and turn those into passes of any kind. And if you can start to turn a couple of those into assists, his efficiency starts to tick way up, and he becomes a much more effective player. And I do think we've seen that, because like, this is just a beautiful play, and it's all created by his ability to get to the rim faster than anyone can rotate in front of him. And they all collapse so hard because of how fast he's moving that it just leaves the easy dunk for Iguodala, who again he's just like living in the dunker spot lately, because I mean, it's nothing but profit for him, honestly. Like, this is so easy because they're all rotated out of the way. And by the time he goes up to dunk, they're literally all just standing there. Nobody is defending him because Jalen Green has pulled the entire defense in. And that's, again, the one thing that we don't have is a dude who is just like, I'm going to the fucking rack. Everyone's coming with me. And if Jalen Green can be that guy, that's a sincere difference maker. Because, that was the thing about Amari Stoudemire. For all of the flaws in Amari's game, especially defensively, like when he rolled to the rim with Nash, and we should, one of these days, we should break down a bunch of Nash and Amari pick and roll plays, because that is the Nash and Amari pick and roll is the basis for the entire NBA right now. Like 95% of current basketball is based on what the Suns did in like 2004 to 2008. I'm not even fucking kidding. It's literally true. Mike D'Antoni, he'll never get credit for it because he never won an NBA Finals, but the work that he has done in basketball shaped so much of what the NBA is. And by the way, never forget, he was Kobe's favorite player growing up. That's why Kobe wore 8, was because Mike D'Antoni wore 8 in Italy when Kobe grew up. That was his favorite player. Like,
I never knew that.
Yeah. So, like, Mike D'Antoni is a legend, and I think that he is a legend who doesn't necessarily get what he deserves in terms of his due for, what he did for offensive basketball.
They called it the D'Antoni offense.
I mean, it's the defense is, and his player development is, but when we're simply looking at the way that offense is run, the Nash Amari pick and roll is literally the basis for 90%. Anything that's not a motion offense, any pick and roll offense is based on Nash Amari. And that may seem reductive, but it's the most beautiful pick and roll you'll ever see. It's as good as it gets. Sucks that we've never won a championship. All right, let's see our boy Gillespie going to work here. And, again, this is another one where, the guy who shoots the ball doesn't necessarily actually make, the play. Because the beautiful thing about this is it's all rotation. Because when you look at what's going on right here, Gillespie's here. He's got Iguodala with the screen right here, right? And so in that scenario, again, what we talk about a lot, right? It's like, what are we going to do? We're going to roll. Iguodala can pop, blah, 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 right? It's just a standard pick and roll. But what actually ends up happening is a bunch of rotation, because we're going to take off over here. Dunn's going to come this way. And basically these two dudes rotating, this level of, just basically pulling their defenders with them, eventually leads the shot open for Goodwin all the way down in the corner, because they pulled their defenders out of the way. And it's just one of those things where this is the stuff that our offense is doing. And I should get into the more technical terms of it and not always speak about it in such general terms, but it just goes without saying that when we have the secondary and tertiary cuts, everything's going to flow a lot better because, again, we don't have our primary offensive initiator right now. So you have to be playing a slightly more complicated offense with a little bit more going on because you need to find ways to, generate offense when your best scorer and best passer, because Booker is both. That's the thing that kills it for us is that, it's like Luka Doncic, but Luka's usage is insane. But when you lose a guy who's your best passer and best scorer, it's like, all right, now we have to re-coordinate the offense around two different players because it's not like you're going to have one guy step up who's, both of those things probably. But here again, it's just the cuts and rotations are what lead to, the open shot. Because now Dunn's in the corner. And see, this is the thing right here is Dunn is actually the one spotting up for the shot. And instead of getting that, he cuts. And now there's also the option to give Dunn the ball here on the cut as he goes to the basket for the dunk, right? If the passing lane is open, that's part of this play too. But the point is, if you were to look at this if you were to look at this right here, as Gillespie has come off the screen, this looks like it's being set up for Dunn to get the shot in the corner. But because he makes the extra cut, and again, whether or not that's part of the play or whether it's just a heads up part of play by Dunn, I can't say. But it leads to the shot for Goodwin because, again, Dunn cuts. We've created confusion. 20 is run into his man here. Like they've literally run into each other. And now, this dude's going to try to close, but because this is supposed to be a switch, 20 is supposed to follow Dunn. And then you basically have an option for this dude to rotate out or this guy to rotate out. They fuck it up. And again, because Dunn, just let's make that extra run, boom, open shot. And it just is one of those things where, again, whether or not it's actually part of the play that's designed, and I really don't think so. I really think that's just Dunn seeing Gillespie there and he's cutting and basically saying, hey, you've got the option to give me the ball. And, Goodwin says, okay, I'm going to cut right after that. Because the whole thing is rotating. Like if you look at the players, the whole offense, it's just a big wheel. And everyone's rotating from piece to piece. And it's basic, it's simple, but you fucking ran the two players into each other, right?
Exactly.
Because basketball is not necessarily like in football, there's incredibly complicated plays that have a blocking scheme here and a route tree here. And, there's all these things that go into it, but you have a full minute to execute the play where you have all this time to talk about it in the huddle. Offensive coordinator calls it. And then there are moments the receiver's got to cut all these things. Everyone's going to block correctly. But the point is you've got time to build this play, right? In basketball, yes, it's not as complicated as that, but it's the reaction. You've got to do it the right time in half a second, 100 times a game. It's not that you're doing any one thing in any one particular moment that's so incredible. And of course, their dunks and shots are incredible, but making defensive rotations is not pretty. It's not fun. It's not glamorous. It's how you win basketball games. Cutting is not fun. It's not glamorous. It's how you win basketball games. And Ryan Dunn doesn't get anything there. He doesn't get an assist. He doesn't get whatever, but he slammed his defender into another defender and helped Goodwin be wide open. And that's the point is that, like you said it before, it's true. When the guys are playing on a string, when there's cohesion, you're going to be able to do so much more you'll be so much more than the sum of your parts. And yes, this is the Mavericks and they suck, but we're playing injured. So, and again, they damn near put themselves back in it. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's just, again, this is the kind of stuff that that you just love to see with Iguodala because his give and go game is just so good.
It is.
Like he just has. Again, I've said it. I'm going to say it again. It's the Draymond Green thing. I mean, right here, this whole lane is wide the fuck open, and Iguodala's thinking about that now, before he's even got the ball. That's the thing, is that this guy is thinking so far ahead of what's going on. And this is a heads up cut. It's not all on him, right? Like the cut has got to be good. But
those two have good chemistry.
Yeah. And that's the thing that you said before. Again, you hit the nail on the head with the chemistry that we do have has allowed so much more than we would have expected in one season, right? Mm-hmm. I wouldn't expect us to be playing this well in one season, even if we liked all of the, the plays and the offense and the defense, because I would not expect this level of cohesion this quickly. And that comes from everyone just viewing the game the same way. This is a group of guys who think basketball the same way. And the Suns were able to put together a group of dudes who have cohesion and vision. And the funny thing is that at the introductory press conference for Brian Gregory, he said that. He was like, cohesion, vision. And everyone made fun of him. And he, honest to God, so far, he has mostly executed what he said. And, it's looked so good. And, again, here, Dunn just right back to Iguodala, who just immediately. Dunn is such a good cutter. And this pass, I mean, let's just talk about the pass for a moment.
Yeah.
Because let's freeze right here. I mean, just right in between, right by 20, and just right to Dunn as a lead pass, giving him the ability to go up and dunk this ball, not putting him in a position where he's got to turn and shoot a fadeaway. Iguodala is probably the second best passer on the team. His passing is, it's not always off the dribble passing, right? But when he's operating at the elbow, he does so much shit that you're just like, hell yeah. This dude is becoming a hub of our offense at times because he just can do so much. And again, this is the Draymond Green stuff. And dare I say, this is bordering on Jokic stuff. When you start to have a dude who's at this level operating from the elbow as a big man and throwing passes like this is what Jokic does. I'm not saying he's as good as Jokic, but if you want to be a poor man's Jokic, Oso Iguodala, I'm here for that shit.
Yeah, I'll take that.
He'll be skinny Jokic. I'm all about that, man.
He got a double-double recently, I want to say.
Yeah. And a beautiful dunk by Ryan Dunn, too. Let's just celebrate
I agree.
Getting up on that one. We got Book with the high pick and roll with Williams. Oh, just a heads up play. Just heads up stuff. This is just a standard pick and roll. This is nothing, nothing special happens here. Williams comes off and cuts because, again, the Mavericks are just going to let him walk. Obviously, the lane's open because they can't stand and baby guard the lane. But they are just going to continually let him come down this lane. This whole game. It was embarrassing because then we were letting them do the other thing on the other end. But they're literally standing right there. There's two Mavericks players right here. But are they going to, whatever. Yeah. I don't really want to. And it's just a beautiful pass. I mean, just heads up, because you could easily shoot this ball. Mm-hmm. And Royce is just no. Because, again, look right here. While we're watching, again, you can't baby guard the lane. But right here, Williams is going down, and this dude, he's sprinting out to the corner because the center got picked off. And they're just literally, and I'm not saying that you should leave the shooter wide open in the corner. I think that's Gillespie. But I'm just saying you probably shouldn't let this 7-foot center walk to the rim. And Royce sees that and he's like, oh, we'll just take the dunk. Rather than
Heads up from Royce.
Yeah, it's a beautiful pass because it's such a quick touch pass right inside. And heads up play by Williams because he doesn't expect that ball to come. Mm-hmm. That's not the play. Most likely. Again, scenario possible that was the play they were running, but really most likely just a heads up play by Royce. And for him to have the touch, again, Mark Williams is everything that DeAndre Ayton was supposed to be. Mm-hmm. I've said it. I mean it. I stick by it.
I agree with you.
Whew. That stroke is beautiful. I mean, you love what you see from Jalen Green. I just want to see more of that. That's a gorgeous shot. Great arc. And that's the thing, man. It's like the talent on this dude is tantalizing, Mm-hmm. It's like this guy has it. And if he could just put it together,
yeah,
we could have another superstar on our hands.
He's young too, so I'm really optimistic.
24 years old. You just never know. We're seeing a Jimmy Butler like resurgence. Oh God. I mean, come on. Again, we're talking about chemistry here. Mm-hmm. And this is a great Ryan Dunn game.
Yes, yes, it was.
He's all over this stuff. But this is the thing about Oso is he's either in the dunker spot or he's at the elbow, right? Mm-hmm. But either way, he finds a way to get involved, and he's either going to throw an incredible pass or throw down a dunk. We just need more and more of this guy. But this one is just what you love about Ryan Dunn is his hustle. He does the dirty work. He sprints all over the place. He's not an elite defender by any stretch of the imagination, but he works hard. And he does a good job covering dudes. He's long.
Yes.
And all of this is, again, created because Ryan Dunn runs the fuck all over the place. And he sprints his ass off. Because you come up here, you set the pick. And, again, what does he do? He doesn't just, he fully takes off. And that's it, by the way. Incredible pass by Gillespie because, you come around and right there.
Yeah.
You got to get that under the defender. Nice hands by Dunn to reach and grab the ball because, again, he's on the roll. So to pick that ball off the bounce and grab it and then whip it into a pass, that's not easy. And that was the kind of thing Amari Stoudemire could not do. He could grab any ball in any scenario, but the passing, he didn't have that level, and this is just boom. Again, Iguodala. If you see Iguodala in the dunker spot, the dunk is coming, and we'll just talk about that right here. By the way, the dunker spot is right here where Oso Iguodala is standing, right next to the basket. I mean, it's pretty good name for it. And it's just, that's where Oso lives if he's not at the elbow. All right, let's see what we got here. Ooh, a little bit of Booker pick and roll, a little bit of guard screen roll, but we'll just go to Book. And he just scores over anybody. I mean, you could just, we could just watch Devin.
Yeah, we had to get a Booker.
We had to get a Book highlight in. Yeah. And this was a huge shot, too, because this game was getting too close and we needed to put this shit away. And it didn't win the game or anything, but it was at a moment where things were getting tense.
Yeah.
And we needed a bucket. So you go to your best player, and this is just ISO, boom, great space, D-Book. And he's just the best two guard in the game. Oh, now this game was horrible. So let's watch it. I mean, that's just, again, heads up. Royce O'Neal this year has really shown. I feel like Royce and Grayson went to basketball camp together, and they're like, "We're gonna pass this year, baby."
Oh yeah,
because they've been throwing some nice pass. And this is just heads up stuff, I mean, this is just, again, if you let Williams walk to the basket, Royce O'Neal will see it. And again, just purely, truly horrible defense by the Thunder. We're just, out of position, and they're not realizing also the speed and power with which Williams moves, because it almost looks like they can recover, and then you see Williams move, and it's like, oh no, dude, he's throwing that shit down, and Hartenstein's like, oh no, okay. Whew. And that's just all Iguodaro. And again, I mean, you gotta love this right here because we got just the high pick and roll, right? Standard stuff. But what happens is Goodwin kind of snuffs out the actual action and doesn't allow a clean pick, which forces a worse pass, which then he just grabs. So you see it play out again right here. Goodwin goes above the pick. Bad job by Jalen Williams there. You see him right here. Like he's trying to set a screen, but he's way out of position and he's just basically reaching at Goody. So Goody's successfully gotten around the pick at this point, and he's able basically to jam. And, it's going to be a harder pass. And at that point, Iguodaro's just right there. Like, because Goodwin just ran right into him. So, Jalen Williams, the goal there for him would be obviously to seal off Goodwin, which allows that pass to go out way quicker. And then it's, much less likely that Iguodaro is going to be able to eat that shit up, but he ate that shit up. And good on Brooks on the other end on the contest. I can't believe we had any good highlights in this game.
I know, right?
Oh, man. That's it. I remember watching that.
Dude, me too.
I remember being like, all right, now we're coming back. Iguodaro is going to put us back in this game. I mean, again, this is just like, right. I mean, he's just set up for the little give and go, right? I'm going to let Gillespie give the ball to me. Yeah. And then this is the scenario where either Dunn flashes up here for the second pick, right? Or Dunn cuts down here to the corner and, Gillespie has him for the corner three. That's what this looks like, right?
Yeah.
And my favorite part is right here when Iguodara's like, fuck all that. And just like catches them completely off guard. And he's like, I'm going to abuse Isaiah Hartenstein in this play. And I mean, this is just like, you can just see it right here. It's like, oh no. And they've got Hartenstein and Holmgren. Holmgren's right here. And Iguodaro is like, we're going to put these motherfuckers on a poster. And the thing is they're recovering. Like Holmgren's coming across. He's probably too slow at this point. But like, I mean, the poster's coming. And you can see the bench see it coming too. Like, oh
yeah,
God.
Green gets up after that shit.
Yeah. That was, I remember watching that. I believe Brittany yelled at me for waking the baby on that one.
I don't blame you, man.
Because I was like, yeah, dude. Iguodaro is, again, untouchable. I wouldn't trade. I mean, I see a star in the making with this dude. Like literally, he's so special. All right, we got Bouye with everyone's favorite player. Ooh. And that's what Jamari Bouye can do for you. Is again, this play is just broken down, but he gets his man on skates and can get all the way to the rack. And, score against a pretty good contest. And that's the one thing that Jamari brings, again, that we just don't have a lot of is he's so fucking fast. He's kind of like a poor man's Jalen Green, I'm going to get to the rack. Jamari, when he shoots, it's a you never know. I remember he hit the side of the backboard one time. Like, it's interesting. But when he's in transition or when the play is broken down and he's got a mismatch, he's immediately at the rim, and you need that. You do. It's just we love the Mile Watch highlight, but with Dunn, it's so close. Like when he can start to nail this shot, and it's pretty well defended, honestly. But when he can start to be, I mean, you would like him to get that shot off more uncontested with the space he's got there. So the biggest thing I would say is speed of release, I think is the thing for him. Because when he can start to knock these down, I mean, we've seen some highlights from him here. Like, he can play, man. This game was just out of hand. Boom. You love the corner triples. And that's and see right there, that's the reason that we drafted Malawach. Because the two dudes that we were looking at this pick were Carter Bryant and come on Malawach. And Bryant was awesome in the dunk contest, U of A alum. I kind of didn't want us to draft Carter Bryant, not because I don't love him. He went to U of A, but just like our history of drafting U of A players has not gone well, and I didn't want this to be another thing where we didn't develop a U of A player correctly. But I also thought, we were a longer term project right now. Malawach is more what we need in terms of rim protection. We traded for Mark Williams too, so it ended up being an interesting set of choices. And Carter Bryant has been good, but when you see some of the stuff that Malawach can do in terms of just like right here again, I mean, that is a 7-foot dude taking off from the circle and throwing down a two-handed dunk. Like that explosiveness at his size and his length, like that shit is pretty rare. And his defensive instincts, like, still need some work, but like, we watched the highlights from his G League game.
Yeah.
And like, he's really starting to come along a little bit. And again, I think that's part of why we traded Richards, is because we're comfortable with playing Malawach those minutes. And I don't know if the Carter Bryant thing will end up being the right choice or whatever, but the reason that we chose Malawach is shown in that play right there is the explosion in his size. Now, you might say to yourself, well, we thought similar stuff about DeAndre Ayton, and we should have taken Doncic, and Carter Bryant could end up being, it's fair enough, but we do have wings on this team. I don't know how much he'd even play. Malawach isn't playing, who knows? With the draft, you never know. But when you see a dude that big dunking from that distance, you're kind of like, I'd like to see more of that, because there's just not a lot of dudes who have that ability at that size. And when you factor in, okay, what does that explosiveness mean for us defensively in terms of him being an elite rim protector? That's where the thought process is. Mm-hmm. So, boom. Sidestep. Thank you for the triple, sir.
Yeah, Brea. I don't know how much play he'll get with us. Yeah.
Brea can shoot. Brea can shoot. I've been hoping to see him this season. He hasn't really gotten an opportunity. He is someone I think who will play next year, because we're going to need cheap young dudes to play, and he can shoot. Like, I'm talking like that kid can shoot. He's got to get stronger. He's got to get, better instincts defensively. He's got to learn to pass a little bit, but like, just in terms of just, my God, this guy can put a ball in a basket. Kobe Bryant can play. So we got the Spurs. Let's beat him. We got the upcoming doubleheader after that. Let's beat him.
Magic Blazers.
I'd love to wear a Magic Blazer right now. Yeah. It'd look good on me. We managed to go over an hour, just like I thought. I can talk for hours on anything. You never have to worry. Any last thoughts?
Hey, we'll do it without Brooks one more time.
One more.
I am worried that every time he gets a tech now he's going to be suspended. Correct? Is that he's now hit a threshold?
I believe so. He may have to hit one more threshold before that's the case. But
okay.
Settle down a little bit. He's got to just he needs a little bit of serenity now.
Yeah, some soul searching.
Yeah, but you see, that's what we need. Is we need to introduce serenity now, and then have the explosion next year at the All-Star game.
Yes.
And, punch out Draymond.
Like purge.
Yeah. We'll bring back Grayson Allen kicking people in the dick. We'll really take it to the next level.
Bring back Pat Beverly.
Oh, don't even, oh God, don't even say those words to me. But that's kind of what this game needs. We get like J.R. Reed. He knocked a dude's teeth out in the 90s. Like, we'll make this game real. Well, we'll see what happens when we're back.
Yeah.
We it's All-Star Week time, so break time for them, never for us. We're always on the air. Thank you, my man, for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
From our boy Keith, Sunday Night Suns. Peace.